reach Mazadu, right? Mazadu. These are metropolitan bus service. I mean, the 15 number buses are for movement within the metropolis. And you know what the metropolis means. It's metro. So take note of that and know it's strictly for the metropolis. Meanwhile, one of the reasons why we are resuscitating the train services is we are having cargo coaches where we move to the villages and have this farm produce ferried in these coaches to town at a more lower cost. So that other one takes care of it, and not the buses. The buses are for movement within the city center. Okay, sorry, I'm sure someone did not hear me well when I say the Plateau State government has purchased and taken delivery of 15 number buses. I was so explicit to that level. Has procured and taken delivery, and I say they are here in Jos. So, in case you didn't hear me well, this is what I said. I just repeated. 15 naira from commercial transporters. We are not aware of that. These are the leakages we want to block, to have the funds. Every revenue comes into government. That is why we have started with the tricycle riders, that we are having their data automating them. But any payment they make, it goes into the commons of the state directly. So we are not aware of that, but we would have an investigation. I have the director of research of the ministry here. Please feed me back with such details as soon as possible.
Thank you. Today is Friday. Our Muslim brothers will have to go to the mosque. So be concise and precise. Thank you.
Let me answer the two questions. I'm a commissioner of lands under Barrister Caleb. I'm a commissioner of lands under Barrister Caleb. I wrote a memo for 50% waiver under Barrister Caleb. Barrister Caleb approved 50%. If the previous government had done that, I was not a commissioner then. Secondly, 95% blockage of leakages. Please, I want to encourage us, most especially new applicants. When it comes to payment, ensure that you do the payment yourself. Don't use agents, don't use cards, because they may shortchange you. But what we have been doing now is, before we release your certificate of occupancy, we ensure that we cross-check from Plateau State Revenue Service. And once they okay the payment, we will release your certificate. We've had situations where the Plateau State Revenue Service has denied some of their receipts. And we have published the names of those defaulting applicants. We're expecting that they should come and make the necessary payment. So from now henceforth, note that every payment, apart from our checks and balances system, we're also subjecting it to the integrity of that of Plateau State Revenue Service. Thank you.
Thank you. The Commissioner of Works.
Thank you. I want to make it clear to us here that His Excellency Barrister Caleb Mufa did not mind what on what his intention is to the people of Plateau State. The time is now Medra. It's all about rebuilding structures that have gone bad in the state. And for those of us in the Ministry of Works, which has to do with road infrastructure, it is the mandate that we are now going back to see all the existing roads within Jos and Bukuru metropolis and rehabilitated them. So, and we are doing this in phases. We started with phase 1, we have completed phase 1, We came into phase 2. Phase 2 is ongoing. So the roads along Kochi Road and Amigo certainly will come in any of the phases, whether phase 3, phase 4. Mind you, the resources are very, very lean, and the roads in Plateau State have gone back. Most of the roads. If you are very conversant with the city of Jos, you will discover that the roads have eroded a lot. So we are taking these roads in phases. So those around Kochi Road, please, just be patient. Government will reach your side. About the kilometers, the number of kilometers that the road maintenance agency has covered. We have a list of all the roads here. And if journalists are interested in seeing the number of kilometers that he has executed, they can see. And mind you, it's rehabilitation and patching. It's rehabilitation and patching. So for you to know the total kilometers, maybe later the road maintenance agency, if he has anything to say about that, he will give you. About Ghana roads, I want to let us know that for years, Plateau State has experienced expansion in most of the areas around. And this expansion has to do with areas along one, even the Refuge side, that's the around Atiku Street or Adonai Vine, is a whole lot of road networks around those areas. When you go to Kanda areas and Gasa areas, it's a whole lot of roads along that areas. And these are new settlements. These are all new settlements. So I know that I have instructed one of my engineers, he has gone around. I have a rough narration of how the roads network within those areas are. We have a BOQ for it. As soon as we have available funds, we are going to move into those directions. So I want to tell us that His Excellency has said it time without numbers that he has not started any road construction in Plateau State. That he's just scratching. So please, people of Plateau State, let's continue to pray for this government and cooperate with this government. The man has a bigger plan for the state of Plateau State. So I want to assure us that whatever are the challenges that we are having within our areas, government is going to come to your areas as we are doing this road phase by phases. Thank you. Maybe the GM can say something about the number of kilometers, which I felt is very, very hard.
The General Manager, Plateau State Road Maintenance Agency, Engineer Dr. Lukedabo.
Yeah, thank you very much. They have asked me a number of times the kilometer of roads bridge. But what I want us to understand that the difference between new construction from point A to point B can give you accurate length measurement. But when you patch an entire road and you patch some places, the bad places, you cannot count it in kilometers. Just like a few days ago, we patched from Maravan Jama up to the township here. Will I say I walked on that entire length of road? No. So the question of length of road covered in maintenance and patching is not always obtainable easily like that. Except you want the places of only the asphalt covered and you keep skipping and doing all one road. So I think in maintenance work, the kilometer covered, as we have listed the roads are there all. You can see Genta Adamu, for instance. If Genta Adamu is from point A to point B, that's where we are. So that we have covered with asphalt the entire road. So it's not easy giving the kilometer of all these roads. I don't know whether I'm clear.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. The Commissioner of Commerce is going to respond to his own questions. Then we'll take the Commissioner of Sports. Then the National Anthem will be part.
In respect to the issues of life in carbon market. I think we have three major challenges in carbon market, which include power, water, and erosion. And when we came, we went through the files, what transpired during the last administration. Monies were meant for the completion of the market. Something happened along the way, which I may not say it here. As a result, the project was moved from the Ministry of Commerce to the Ministry of Finance because of that incident. Later on, the project was brought back to us, and a committee was set. We had a series of meetings with the relevant MPs, and we have agreed to address these issues. I mentioned the issue of erosion control because it's the major and the most pressing problem of that market. If you enter the market, a truck cannot even pass in the middle of the market. So we want to prioritize, the issues because of the lean resources from the government side. And it's just because of the bureaucratic bottleneck. But I'm assuring you that in few weeks or months to come, I think we'll commence work, not only on the power sector, but the three major problems of the market. Now, somebody made mention of a land that was designated as permanent site for trade fair. I think we don't have that information in our ministry. What we made on ground was, during the last administration, they got a land just beside the Plateau State, which a price was given to the government to pay during the last administration, and no kobo was paid on that land. So we met with the chambers of commerce and we are discussing, though we are still considering that site with other sites, and by the special grace of God, I'm assuring you that very soon we are going to have a permanent site for our trade fairs. Thank you very much.
Commissioner for your response.
Thank you. Let me start by saying, I mentioned it earlier. If you have a club and most of our players are on loan, when you sell the players, the money doesn't come to the club, it goes to the owner of the players. In Plateau United, when we inherited the club, actually, most of the players are on loan. They are owned by an individual, not the state government. So, for the players that are sold, earlier we are still investigating and get to the root of the matter. We all know that sport is not a business to the world, and we are doing all we can in order to see that Plateau State invest in sport actually. On Friday, 3rd of May, we are traveling to Turkey, from Turkey to Spain. We are partnering with some clubs in order to see that our players are being sold over there, so that we will generate income to the state. Then there is one question that I wanted the question clearly. He was asking whether I have a background in sports. Well, that's what I got. That's the part I got actually. I'm born in a family of sport actually. My mother is a sportman, my late father is a sportman, and it happens to me that he's the founding member of ITF Football Club. And I also play ball for not much actually. And there is one question. It's directly to the GMI jet. It says your achievements since assumption ends. So I'll give you to answer that one too. But let me say something. as people know, United is owned by individuals, but now it's owned by 70% ownership of the government. And for the past 8 years, United has not been, United don't have a vehicle of its own. If they are going out for a competition, they normally hire a car to go and come back. For our first few months in the office, we will be able to get them a new bus for the club. And also the Boy Scouts and some players were picked. It's one of the reasons we are traveling to Spain. But here's 6 players out. And by the grace of God, it will be a blessing to Plateau State. Then he said, Parameter first, is it for Zagalo Stadium or Ramon Country Stadium? Zagalo Stadium. Okay, as you know that there is a contractor that is being handled, that is handling the project actually, but we are doing our best to see that we progress, and by the grace of God, in a few weeks, it will change. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. We are also here with the general managers of these clubs. I think they will say something too.
Yeah, thank you very much for that question. When we came in, we promised government that we are not going to be liability anymore, that we'll try to generate resources for ourselves. And the government of the day has been very magnanimous enough to ensure that we get all the support that we need. Only recently, not too long ago, as the commissioner rightfully pointed out, we were able to bring some sporting directors, not scouts, of club size in Europe to pick players here. And those players were given automatic contracts. We promised the government that we'll be able to raise as much as 1 billion naira in a year, given the enabling environment. And I think we are gearing towards that. Because if these players get to Spain now, the sporting director is in Lagos right now to reschedule our visa appointment, because ours is different from Plateau United. And I can assure you that if these players get to Spain, some of us are going to be part of that trip. Some of these players have automatic contracts already, while 2 of them are going for tryouts. So it's a good development. It has never happened before in the history of Mighty Jets. I must assure you this. And when we came on board, we had obstacles. You know, we had very influential members of the society who told us in clear terms that certain players cannot be dropped. And we cannot work with old players, because you cannot sell old players. That's the truth. We are not saying that old players are not good enough. They are good, because they will aid the younger ones to make them gather that majority. So, but we stood our grounds, and some of these players were flushed out of the club. We know the sort of opposition we went through, but we stood our grounds. Now we have very young players in the team, because we want to make money. If you want to make money, you must encourage young players. As a matter of fact, some of the youngest players in Nigerian football, now you find them in Mighty Jet. We have 2 players from St. John's College. One was with the Goodness, who is 15 years old, that have been invited into the Nigerian national under-17 team in Golden Goodness. We have Emmanuel. He's 16 years old. He's also from St. John's College. As a matter of fact, he won 3 consecutive Man of Match awards in our last 3 games. And he too has been invited into the national under-17 team. Sometimes we really want some of you to come over to watch Mighty Jet to see how they play now. They play quite a different and delectable brand of football. And if you don't have these young lads, you can't sell them. So we have really progressed, over the last couple of months. And I can assure you that the resources that we promised government that we are going to generate, we will generate them. And I really want to thank this government as well as the Plateau people for giving us this mandate. And I'm sure that the next couple of months, you'll begin to see dividends. Sorry, let me just take this last one. Recently, we were in the United Kingdom, where we had partnership agreement with 2 clubs, Tottenham Hotspur and Southampton. And they promised us that they're going to come here and watch our players. And they told us in clear terms that they're not interested in older players. They'll watch players from our youth teams, pick them, help us develop them, sell the players, and we'll share the proceeds 50-50. And they are also interested in athletics. They told us in clear terms that they want athletes that will help them represent their universities, in European school championships. that they went to Kenya, they saw some athletes, but they didn't have, that doesn't have the requisite qualification to gain entrance into their universities. We assured them that we have athletes here that have the papers. And when I came back, I discussed the matter with the director of sports at the Plateau State Sports Council, Professor Israel Kune, and very soon I believe they will be in talk so that he will know how to shift our athletes over there. This is glory for Plateau State. Thank you very much.
Thank you. If you allow Ferdinand to keep talking, this is an abridged version of our successes as a government. For time's sake, that's why we have to paraphrase. We'll continue with this briefing on the 7th and 10th of May. Thank you very much for coming. By this, we'll come to the end of this press briefing. May we all